Members, the House is in committee on the Resource Management, Natural and Built Environment and Spatial Planning Repeal and Interim Fast Track Consenting Bill. We start with the debate on Part 1. Point of order, David Seymour.
Mr Speaker, if I may, I'd like to draw your attention to Standing Order 310, which states that the purpose of a committee stage is to determine whether the bill as returned from the second reading expresses the objects and principles of the bill. It's not actually to have a policy debate, it's to decide whether the text returned from the second reading will achieve what was agreed to. And I just wonder if you might bear that in mind in concurrence with Standing Order 112 about relevancy, because we can spend a huge amount of time with people trying to prove a point, but it's not clear what they've proved other than used up a lot of Parliament's valuable time.
Speaking to the point of order, Honourable Gillian Genta.
Obviously, this bill is proceeding under urgency. There's been no select committee stage, and for that reason, I would expect there to be more scrutiny during the committee stage of each part of this bill than there would for a bill that was passing not under urgency that had a normal select committee.
Speaking to the point of order, David.
Mr Chair, I can see why the member might wish to say that, but there's actually no authority, and she can't quote one, to support why that is a relevant matter.
Speaking to the point of order, Honourable Kieran McNulty.
Mr Chair, I find it extraordinary that a point of order would be made questioning the content and contributions at this stage before anything had been made. I'm sure you in your capacity are more than able to judge relevancy and whether or not it is compliant with standing orders.
Thank you for members for all their contributions. I do hear what members opposite are saying about in terms of there being no select committee process and the real important need to scrutinise the bill, and also hear from government members as well the need for relevancy and for us to focus on part to part. I guess the role of the chair here is to make sure that we strike that balance, and we can do that by starting to listen to some of the contributions from members, but just being mindful to members that are critiquing the bill as returned, to really try to focus on the specific parts as well. Thank you. Okay, Part 1, debate on clauses 3 and 4, preliminary questions and Schedule 1. The question is that Part 1 stand apart.
Mr Chair.
Honourable Rachel Brooking.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Following on from that little point of order discussion, I do want to note, of course, that we don't have a RIS and we haven't had the select committee process, and I heard the Minister say earlier that everything has been traversed already when we went through the process with the bills that then became acts that are now being repealed. So I am hopeful that the Minister will take an approach that I think has been different from some of his colleagues and answers a lot of our questions, Mr Bishop, because that will add to the flow, and I am encouraging of that, so that, of course, we're be earnest with our relevancy and seek to go through the bill quite carefully. And I say that for a number of reasons. One is I have written to the Minister today stating our position, which is, of course, it would be best not to be here at all today discussing the repeal of the bills, and that if there are particular concerns that the government has, that it would be better to do some legislation to pause the commencement of the new legislation whilst it was reviewed. So that remains our position. But in that spirit, Mr Chair, I will ask some questions, and I would like a response from the Minister about his plan for how he wants to deal with this committee stage, given that the bill has only got two parts and it has got two schedules, and there are some very small things that we could raise. So, for instance, there seems to be a drafting stylistic... Look, sorry, there is a lot of interjections in this House, and I've experienced this last week as well. We are here in good faith trying to work out what these issues are, and we get told we have a point of order that speeches are not to Mr. Seymour's liking. We are entitled to make these speeches, but my point is this has not gone through a select committee process. It is always a complicated, it's gone through an election. It has not, so that is a terrible, frustrating thing. Electors do not vote on word for words of laws, and that is why we have the very good public process, which I thought Mr. Seymour was a fan of, that we go through and have a proper process through select committees, and even if points are in